I'm never fully ready for these things. It is also really early in the morning. It's like 5. Oh, it's actually getting late. It's 5:57 in the morning. I usually do these about 12 hours later, and I procrastinate all day, and I just kind of rush. So we're not gonna do that today. Shelf life 23. Unsure. I'm a little off this week, but I wanted to check in. I didn't want to do another bi-weekly. My house makes so many sounds. I got laundry going. The furnace is on, the water heater. Everything downstairs is making a whole bunch of noises today. And it's snowing out. So, and I'm not at work because it's snowing out. It's Sunday, it doesn't matter. I'm taking the day off. We got our coffee. And I'm up early because I worked like 60 hours this week. I know, soft hands, brother. But I worked 60 hours this week. And I was getting up at like 2 in the morning to be at work for 3. So I take one day off a week, like mandatory. I could work 7 days a week, but just like personal boundary, I'm taking a day off. That's kind of like a thing for the year I'm trying to do, just to set a line. But yeah, today I woke up at 5 something or like 4:50, and I'm like pretty late. Like if I wake up now, I can go film, and I could be done with it for the day. So I kind of don't have a big plan. And we're going to talk about how this kind of a week will screw up your goals. I tried to bite off more than I can chew. I have to get rid of that term. I use too many cliches in my speech. That's one of the things you start becoming aware of is your own speech when you start writing more and reading more. Reasons you want to read more. So, completely lost my train of thought there. Where were we? Waking up early. I try to maintain a schedule of reading so I have something to talk about. But this week, and after last week, I kind of burned myself out, and then I had all these feelings about my audience, and what am I going to do? So I decided early in the week, you got a big overtime week. You're just going to do what you can do, and you're going to check in no matter what. We're going to keep the channel rolling. And knowing this, and knowing that this is such a mother, I gave myself like little daily, not like page goals, but like I gave myself like this is what you want to accomplish in the week. And I knew with the amount of sleep I'm getting and how dense this guy is, that midweek, we're going to start getting sloppy. And right at the beginning of the week, it was like, that's okay. It's okay. And it just let me not stress out midweek and like, I'll try to read this for you guys. And does it have to be good enough? Stop it. So I read a couple pages an hour, and probably like I knew Wednesday, Thursday, it was just like there was training class at work, and then like this guy had to get moved over there. I got put on some weird job, and now I'm just like not in the pension quality mindset. Like I don't want to miss anything. Not that I'm really absorbing all of it either, but it's like, it's just like a vibe coming off of this. It's like, that's my reading comprehension of this. It's like, it's like this weird feeling. We'll get into it. But it's been a weird week. It's been a good week. It's been a very busy week, but it's been a weird week. We still read, we still wrote, working on the writing, changing up the process. And I just wrote some quick notes. I didn't go crazy making a whole agenda like I have before with all these talking points. I have 2 drinks today. Let's go over that because it seems to be a thing I do in these videos. I have this cup put together from multiple Stanleys and offshoot Stanleys. This is mango passion fruit liquid IV electrolytes. because I did a 9-mile run yesterday in the cold. That's another thing I'm noticing. I'm allowing myself to go, excuse me, to get excited about old things. Like I went to the doctor. I don't have any terrible medical news, but pretty much like the doctor was like, you should lean more on, my conclusion was, you should lean more on your old school cardio side where you were crazy more than the lifting side where you're crazy. And it was like, it's kind of tearing me apart, but it's just like, no, let's dig the way you used to. It's just like, accept your old self. Like, all right, this is the direction we're going in. So it was nice to like get into maps and look at races again and plan out my calendar. And then a couple weeks ago, if I would have had that itch, I wouldn't have scratched it, because it's been like, well, you got to read a bunch of the tunnel for your video. It's go life. So the allowing. But these are the things happening in my head when it's like, oh, you got to read. It's like, no. So I got excited about other things, other adventures, creating projects that aren't revolved around reading, but like YouTube-ish. We're definitely got more an Unshelved. I know I owe you guys an Unshelved. That's coming up soon. An adventure Unshelved. That would be fun. So let's see. And we're going slow. I just did these notes. And as you can see, I nerded out. These are all my runs coming up for one of my next projects. How was reading this week? It was wonky. Let's see. Writing. I need to pick up again. I'm going to pick up again. I allowed myself this week to not hit a word count, but just, okay, I'm taking how I write in a new direction. Not in a new direction, but like a different process. And this week it was, I kind of have a chapter and I'm kind of at the end of where I visualize, like the middle. I'm at the end of where I visualized the beginning, and now it's like, what are we going to do here? Which way are we going to go? And I don't necessarily know. So it's like discovery writing right now. And this week it was like, well, here we go. We're going to write it out by hand. And when we write it out by hand, things start happening. The ideas start stirring. And it's like, oh, okay, this is where we're going to head. And I didn't get a chance to type that out yet because I've been working. And then I took a day off. So, and it's all about not attaching to those feelings of, oh, well, the work done. It's like, I'm starting to realize that's a flaw, that kind of thinking. It gets shit done, but it also burns out the candle, and then I'm not fun to be around, and that's not cool. The self-awareness comes from all the books. Oh, another thing that happened this week that I realized, and I've mentioned on this channel with talking about creating and making content and how it affects your mind space. TikTok came back, and it was the end of my 60-hour week. And I noticed it, Friday? When I was in a weird booth, and I was like, I'm not reading it. I was like, that's it. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I'm just going to doom scroll for 2 or 3 hours. And after it, I realized, I'm like, this is poison. Like, it was fun, but it was, I was like, oh, immediately certain like irks came back, and like looming, like, oh, I don't like the space I'm in anymore. And it was nice having that like pulled away, but now I'm seeing the effects of it, and a little revelatory. I think we're going to stick with try to maintain analog with things that we're allowed to or not allowed to have. I don't like that word, allowed. Anyways, so yeah, we were writing. And today, normally I would film these later because I'm trying to catch up in what I've read to report, but more Gravity's Rainbow on what I'm confused over. Later today, after I clean up the snow, it's supposed to stop around late morning. After I do that, go for my little recovery run, I might be able to slam out Batman. I might be able to finish a whole book this week, and guess what? Batman's going to count. We'll see. I think I could, or at least I can get halfway through whatever's left of it, and that would be a nice, relaxing before we pick up another chunk next week. Also, the Count of Monte Cristo. I finished Meditations last week, and it would have behooved me to know exactly where I am in the count because I have the count in my phone and I could do the stealth route. I think I need to go back and forth with this because on the day I found TikTok again, I kind of wanted this. I wasn't in the mood for this, but I kind of didn't know exactly what chapter I was on this versus what I had marked in here. I think I read a little bit more and it was getting confusing, and I was like, oh, you're getting fuzzy. You need to revisit the count. This will not be do not finish. This is going to be a slow burn for the year because it's so good. It's so good. I remember I'm like quizzing myself. Where were you? And it was like, we're on the island. I think we just we're on the island. There's like this new guy. I can visually see it in my head, but see, getting fuzzy. I don't like that. And I also don't want to do any spoilers. It's like, oh yeah, stop. We'll talk about this next week. The count. I just made a promise to you. We're going to talk about this next week. Good. I need to get back into the count. Gravity's Rainbow. I'm checking what time it is. There's like a little clock here for how long I'm going. It's 12 minutes. Okay, cool. I didn't even think I had this much to talk about. Every time I'm like, that was a video. Gravity's Rainbow. Let's see. At this point, can't even take it. Oh, at this point, I can't even take it seriously. I can't even take it seriously because it's, let's see what else. I'm going to just read the notes, and then I'm going to spout off of them. At this point, I can't even take it seriously. The plow is now a safari truck. I know we're talking about the year of the plow, and we were just going to steam forward ahead and like brood through the words because I was like afraid to read this book. But it has turned into a safari truck. The plow is a safari truck, and now we are going through Pynchon's world, and it is the most bizarre, and it's like bizarro industrial post-war space full of like decadent old European Renaissance like secret societies and like government agencies, and every nationality is mixed, and you're just going through it and you're seeing the most bizarre stuff, and like every paragraph can be like the turn of a head in like the midst of a LSD trip. It's like you go to a different paragraph and we're talking about this character that I have to check up on. It's like, hey, ChatGPT, who exactly is this character again? Don't spoil anything. Blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, that guy. And then next paragraph, over here was something absolutely hysterical, and then over here some technical thing about like explosions. It's awesome, but it really is like tripping. And you're reading the most bizarre thing, but you're in Pynchon's world, so it's like, oh yeah, that's totally normal. Yeah, right? Like when you're in a dream and you wake up the next day and you're like, that was the most wild thing ever. But when you're in that dream, you're like, oh, this completely makes sense. Like, completely normal. That's what reading this book is like. And it's nice to be in the point where I've detached from it, and it's like I'm calmly observing. It's like, now I'm used to this. Like, it's like now I'm getting ready. I'm driving through, and I'm getting ready to. I'm already planning my next trip. I'm on my vacation. I'm already planning my next reread. Like, it's insane. Let's see. Yeah, I've read in prep for this all the lore about this book. Something about the yacht. I don't know exactly where I am, but I don't know if this is a yacht or some sort of a super boat, or I don't know, but there's nautical. We're on there's a lot of boats, and there's all sorts of weird, strange people happening. There's like a canal, but then they're mentioning Chicago and Boston. Like this, how do you? I don't know. I don't know. I hope you're entertained by the fact that like I'm just so lost in this, and you're getting a first-person perspective of a guy like discovering this kind of literature, because it's like I'm doing my best here, guys. But it's fun. Just jump in. Now, I did have another thought. Let's see. Okay. While everything, I need to put this down. While everything that I just said was like, whoa, that's wildly disorienting. If I would have watched this video, it would have intrigued me to want to read it, but it might have intimidated me to not read it. Like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for this. And that was the assumption that I had, and I want to just dispel that immediately. It's a fun book. It's fun to read. Once you get lost, you can pick things back up, and like you have to watch it like watching clouds in the sky. It's like, oh, there it goes. Like, and that's kind of how I'm reading it. I thought it was going to be more like gibberish, and it's like I remember getting locked into paragraphs. Like when I was reading Heart of Darkness, Joseph Conrad, or anything else from like an earlier period, harder literature, sometimes I get stuck and I can't even comprehend. Wait a minute. And it's like, oh, I think I got it. It's like, no, dude, you got to read that whole freaking page again. This book sucks. That's like my early reading memories. That's not what this is like. I wish I knew that. Like, you can go through this and not know what's going on, but you can enjoy the funhouse. Like, so don't be intimidated. And now, realizing that, I want to ask the audience, is this what Finnegan's Wake is like? I really enjoy Dubliners, and I had this assumption about Gravity's Rainbow, but I'm enjoying it, and that's counter to my assumptions going into this. And I kind of have those same assumptions about Finnegan's Wake. Everyone's like, oh, he's just crazy, and he's just blah, blah. I don't know. This is going to be a great short for this, because I can put it across the board, and I need help figuring out, is Finnegan's Wake like complete gibberish, or is it doable? So don't rely on your assumptions. Dig in. You know, like that's where an assumption kind of bit me in the butt. I held this off too long. Am I prepared for it? Was I prepared for it before? No. Am I prepared for it now? No. Is anybody prepared for anything? No. Bookmarks. This morning when I was looking around for stuff, I moved something I haven't touched in a long time, and look what I found. Bam, they're all back. Look at that. So then, I got this big, huge thing of watercolor paper. I had been moving my bookshelves and stuff, and I got this really thick stock paper. I cut out a whole bunch of them, and now I finally have templates for making some bookmarks. I had been carrying these ones around, but I couldn't find those sleeves at all. Here they are. I did put a couple of them in sleeves. Like, yeah, like the boat, right? That's cool. And yeah, I didn't know what to do with all these. Yeah, I did 2 boats, and these were the only ones I had. I got 2 boats, and these are 2 mountains I did when I was in Hawaii. These are off of Maui. So, plein air painting that I did. And now that I'm into books more, and I got this channel, I think I'm going to do some like book postmodern, weirdo themed bookmarks. Like I might do one of the rocket, or I might do one of the tunnel, or I might do one of some tennis balls. I don't know. I got some ideas, but you know, some quick and easy, and then I can link them to my YouTube page. So, or maybe we could do some giveaways. But I'm excited about that. I think maybe we should do a painting. Like I'll just sit there and paint and talk about. Maybe that'll be our unshelved. I don't know. But the bookmarks are going to be coming soon. I think that'll be fun. Let me know what you think. Do you have any ideas about that? Like, I'll show you. Here's another one. I'm still talking. There we go. Here's the one I actually use. Just a bunch of flowers. That might be an easy way to just bang out a couple of these. Not necessarily theme. What? There's a question. Would you like basic theme? Basic like, oh, flowers or something nice? Or do you want some themed literature one? I think we're going to do some theme. We have to do a rocket one now. So we'll see. Happy reading. Take it easy. Have fun. Keep it analog. Sayonara. This is Shelf Life. Like and subscribe. Look at that. I remembered right at the end. Love you guys. Seriously. Out.